Good morning, class 10th. Welcome back to your English class. Today we are doing our chapter 3, two stories about flying. So there are two parts in it. One is his first flight and another one is Black Aeroplane. So today we are going to finish first one. So this chapter is written by Liam O. Flatte, and this his first flight is a beautiful description of how a young seagull learns to fly and how he overcomes his fear of flying. The young seagull is quite timid and fears of falling in his attempt to fly. But with the wisdom of his mother and the other family members, he finally learns how to fly. So, before you read, here, since the earliest times, humans have dreamed of conquering the skies. Here are two stories about flying. A young seeker is afraid to fly, and how does he conquer his fear? So, as you know, आरंभ से ही मानवों ने आकाश पर विजय प्राप्त करने के लिए सपने देखे हैं। इंसान शुरू से ही आकाश पे विजय प्राप्त करना चाहता है और यहाँ उड़ान के बारे में दो कहानियाँ कही गई हैं। तो एक छोटा समुद्री पक्षी उड़ने से डरता है और वह अपने डर को कैसे ओवरकम करता है, इसके बारे में हम आज पढ़ेंगे। सो द चैप्टर इज his first flight. The young seagull was alone on his edge, and his two brothers and his sister had already flown away the day before. He had been afraid to fly with them. Somehow, when he had learned and he had taken a little run forward to the brink of ledge and attempted to flap his wings, he became afraid. So, this is a beautiful description of a young seagull and how he overcome his fear of flying. And it was the time when young seagull he must had to learn to fly, and he was quite grown up now, and his two brothers and a little sister had already learned how to fly by imitating their parents, and they would simply run to brink of the edge of the ledge and flap their wings and fly away. But the young seagull was too afraid to fly, and he was filled with stark terror whenever he came to the brim of the ledge. Then the great expanse of sea stretched down beneath, and it was such a long way down, miles down, he felt certain that his wings would never support him. So he bent his head and ran away back to the little hole under the ledge where he slept at night. When each of his brothers and his little sister, whose wings were far shorter than his own, ran to the brink, flapped their wings and flew away. Ran to brink, flapped their wings and flew away. So here are some word meanings you firstly know about ledge. Ledge means a narrow horizontal shelf projecting from wall. Ledge means a narrow horizontal shelf projecting from a wall, or here you can see a cliff. Another one, upbraiding. Upbraiding means scolding. So it will come later. Now you come to the para. The great expanse of sea stretched down beneath, and it was such a long way down and miles down. He felt certain that his wings would never support him. So he bent his head and ran away back to the little hole under the ledge. When he slept at night, even when each of his brothers and little sister, whose wings were far shorter than his own, ran to the brink, flapped their wings, and flew away. So, as you can see, it was the right time when the young seagull must learn how to fly. उसको अब उड़ना सीख लेना चाहिए था. उसके छोटे बहन भाई भी उड़ना सीख गए थे और उसके जो दो भाई थे और एक बहन थी वो अपने माँ बाप को फॉलो करके उड़ना सीखे थे. बट उसको डर लगता था. वह उनके साथ उड़ने से भी डरता था और किसी तरह से वह चट्टान के जो उभरा हुआ भाग था उसके किनारे की ओर थोड़ा सा दौड़कर आता था, लेकिन फिर वापस दोबारा डर कर वहीं पर रुक जाता था. और नीचे चारों तरफ जो है एक समुद्र फैला हुआ था, पूरा फैलाव था समुद्र का, और ये बहुत ही लंबा और मीलों लंबा रास्ता था. उसे यकीन हो गया था कि उसके जो पंख हैं वो उसका साथ नहीं दे पाएंगे और वह अपना सर झुकाता और दौड़कर वापस जो है चट्टान की तरफ नीचे छोटे बिल में लौटकर चला जाता, जिस जगह पर वह रात को सोया करता था. तो वो इतना डरता था कि उसको समझ नहीं आता था कि वो क्या करे. उसके बहन भाई जो कि आराम से उड़ पाते थे लेकिन वो नहीं उड़ पाता था. Calling him shrilly, upbraiding him, threatening him to let him starve on his ledge unless he flew away, but for little life of him he could not move. But for the life of him he could not move. So here upbraiding means scolding. डांटना जो हम बोलेंगे that was 24 hours ago since the nobody had come near to him. और क्योंकि वो उड़ने की कोशिश ही नहीं करता था तो कोई भी उसके पास नहीं आ रहा था और सब जो है उसको डांट रहे थे. सब लोग उससे बोलते थे कि तुम उड़ना नहीं सीख रहे हो और हम तुमसे बात नहीं करेंगे. तो इस तरीके से वो कोशिश करते थे उसको उड़ने सिखाने की. That was 24 hours ago. Since then, nobody had come near to him the day before all day long, and he had watched his parents flying about with his brothers and sister, perfecting them in the art of flight, teaching them how to skim the waves and how to dive for fish. He had in fact seen his older brother catch his first herring. Herring means a soft, fine sea. And here skim. Skim means to move lightly just up and above a surface. So here his brothers and sisters, they all were trying to fly and they all were learning flying, but he was not learning. So he was filled with stark terror whenever he came to brim of the ledge. And he felt sure that if he tried to fly, he would fall into the sea. And the young seagull's parents did all the effort to encourage him into flying on his own. But the poor chap was scared to his soul. माँ बाप ने पूरी कोशिश कर ली थी उसको उड़ाने की कोशिश करने की, वो खुद उड़े लेकिन वो नहीं उड़ता था, वो फेल हो जाता था. He simply refused to make an effort then. So he actually did not want to, we wanted to learn, but he did not want to overcome his fear. Perfecting them in the art of flight, teaching them how to skim. किसको परफेक्ट करते थे? उसके रंग सीगल के भाइयों को, बहन को उसके पेरेंट्स परफेक्ट कर रहे थे और वो दूर से देखता रहता था. Waves and how to dive for fish. He had in fact seen his older brother catch his first herring. Herring means you can say his first, उसका जो शिकार है समुद्र बोल सकते हैं उसको, या soft fine sea, a soft fine sea. So and devour it standing on a rock while his parents circled around raising a proud cackle. Cackle means they were just they were just shouting and all, just making loud voice. All the morning the whole family had walked about on the big plateau midway down the opposite cliff, taunting him with his cowardice. और सब लोग उसको, उसके डरपोक होने की वजह से सब लोग उसको डांटते रहते थे, उसको बोलते थे कि तुम उड़ना नहीं सीखोगे, तुम तो डरपोक हो. The sun was now ascending and the sky blazing on his ledge that faced the south. He felt the heat because he had not eaten since the previous nightfall. उसने रात से ही कुछ नहीं खाया था. वो काफ़ी भूखा था, लेकिन किसी को उसकी कोई परवाह नहीं थी. Seagull parents did all the efforts to encourage him. So because he was not flying, तो उन्होंने उसको अकेले ही पड़ा छोड़ दिया था. In order to teach him a lesson, the family flew from the place, leaving him alone. And 24 hours passed, and the seagull had not eaten anything since then. Now he began to feel very hungry, and his hunger increased all the more when he saw his mother sitting on a plateau eating a fish. And he looked at her with the pleading eyes, hoping that she would melt and offer him the much needed food. So her mother was, at that time, she was cruel because she wanted him to learn to fly. The sun was now ascending the sky, the blazing on his leg that faced the south, and he felt the heat because he had not eaten since previous night. He stepped slowly out to brink of the ledge, and standing on one leg with the other leg hidden under his wings, he closed one eye, then other, and pretended to be falling asleep. तो वो कोशिश कर रहा था सोने की, ऐसा दिखा रहा था कि जैसे वो सो रहा है, बट ही वॉज नॉट स्लीपिंग. Still they took no notice of him, and he saw his two brothers and sister lying on the plateau, dodging with their hats sunk into their neck. His father was preening. Preening means dressing. You can say preening means making an effort or maintain feathers. So you can say dressing. Feathers on his white back, only his mother was looking at him. She was standing on a little high hump on plateau. Her white breast thrust forward now and again. So her white breast thrust forward and now and again. She tore at piece of fish. They lay at her feet, then scraped each side of her beak on the rock. And the sight of food maddened him. How he loved to tear food and waste, scraping his beak now and again to wet it. अब खाने का जो नज़ारा था, उसे खाना दिखाई दे रहा था, उसकी माँ खाना खा रही थी और वो उसको देख रहा था, और वो खाने का नज़ारा उसको पागल किए दे रहा था क्योंकि उसे सच में बहुत भूख लग रही थी. लेकिन उसकी माँ बहुत निर्दयी बनी हुई थी, उसे खाना नहीं दे रही थी. गा 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 ही क्राइड begging. वो एक भीख सी मांग रहा था अपनी माँ से. How to bring him some food. Galola. These are the voice he was just making. She screamed back derisively, but he kept calling plaintively, and after a minute or so he uttered a joyful scream. Here plaintively means you can say unhappily, and here derisively means in a manner showing someone that he or she is stupid. So he was flying across to him with it. His mother had picked up a piece of fish and was flying across to him with it, and he leaned out, eagerly tapping the rock with his feet, trying to get nearer to her. Now he was trying to catch the food, and his mother, she was just giving him, but she was just pretending to giving him. And now nearer to her as she flew across, but when she was just opposite to him, she halted her. It means the first mother looked at him derisively, but when she picked up a piece of fish and flew towards him, the smart mother did not come straight to him. She rather halted in chase away from him, and her wings motionless. And the seagull wondered why she was not coming near to him. and he could not bear it any longer as he was maddened by hunger. And without thinking any further, he dived at the fish in his mother's beak. However, he could not reach it and consequently fell from the ledge downwards into the open space. और वो गिर गया, लेज से वो नीचे गिरा, खुले जगह पर वो गिर गया. एंड दिस फ्री फॉल फिल्ड हिम विद फियर. और जो वो एकदम से गिरा, जो अचानक से गिरा, तो वो उसमें डर भर गया और वो जोर से चिल्लाया. But this dark terror lasted only a minute. Soon he noticed that his wings spread naturally and he was floating in the sky. And this was an ecstatic moment, and he realized that he was flying, and he uttered cries of joy and started flying higher and higher. His mother, father, brother, and sister flew around him and screamed with joy. सो एज़ यू कैन सी, उसकी जो माँ थी वो उसे उसके लिए क्रूअल बन रही थी, बट वो उसको उड़ाना चाहती थी. टैपिंग उसने जो भी उसने कोशिश की, उसको खाना दिखा रही थी वो, लेकिन असल में दे नहीं रही थी, क्योंकि वो चाहती थी कि वो वहाँ से उड़ कर आए और ख़ुद जो है अपना खाना ले. एंड ही कुड हियर नथिंग बट इट ओनली लास्टेड अ मिनट. द नेक्स्ट मोमेंट ही फेल्ट हिज विंग स्प्रेड टू आउटवर्ड. और वो उड़ने लग गया थोड़ी देर में ही, बस थोड़ी देर का डर था, कुछ सेकेंड्स का डर था. एंड देन ही स्टार्टेड फ्लाइंग. एंड अगेंस्ट हिज विंग्स ही कुड फील द टिप्स ऑफ हिज विंग्स कटिंग थ्रू द एयर. वो देख सकता था कि जो उसकी विंग्स थी वो हवा को काट कर चल पा रही थी. एंड ही वॉज नॉट फॉलिंग headlong now. Here headlong means upright, and he was soaring. Here soaring means rising, gradually downwards and outwards. And he was no longer afraid, and he just felt a bit dizzy. So he was. तो अब उसको उड़ना आ गया था. उसके मम्मी ने, उसकी माँ ने उसको उड़ना सिखा दिया था. And after some time, the seagull's parents, brother, sister landed on the sea. And they asked him to come there, and the seagull thought that it was green flooring, and he dropped his legs to stand on the green sea. तो फाइनली उसने ऐसे उड़ना सीखा. उसके माँ ने उसको खाने के लिए ललचाया और वो फिर उड़ पाया. सो ये जो स्टोरी थी, इट वॉज योर हिज फर्स्ट फ्लाइट. इट इज़ अ ब्यूटिफुल डिस्क्रिप्शन. And it is about a young seagull who is all dependent on his family for his daily food needs, because he is too scared to fly. But in the end he learned to fly. The title is quite apt and justified, we can say. And finally he is tricked by his mother, who pretends to bring him food but does not actually do so, right? So theme of this story is his first flight by Liam O'Flaherty is a story with the primary themes of having courage and self-confidence. It is the story of courage and self-confidence. So that's it, students. And the message of this story is that the message that we must dare and act. If we want to succeed in our life, one must pave one's own path to success. And it doesn't come served on a platter. It has to be achieved with the power of grit, brain and muscle. So this is your chapter. Here are how many characters? Number 1 is young seagull, another one is mother seagull, and father seagull, and brothers and sister. So that's it for today. Bye for now. Have a nice day. I will send our question answers to you, and tomorrow we will do our another part.